And I call the member for McKellar.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I thank the member for Longman also. Mr Deputy Speaker, our economy is getting stronger. There is absolutely no doubt about that. We see that day in and day out every time new economic figures are released. Just last week we saw unemployment fall to 5%, while the participation rate in the labour market went up. When you look at what this government has managed to achieve since 2013, it is quite an extraordinary achievement. Government borrowings through the budget are down. Employment is up. Taxes are down. Work participation up. Welfare dependency down. Inflation, wages, all these things are at record highs or lows. Everything that should be up is up. Everything that should be down is down. What we got under the opposition when they were in government was completely the opposite. It was reverso world. The geniuses on the other side of the chamber managed to turn an $80 billion net negative government borrowing requirement into a $280 billion deficit in 3 short years. They took a $25 billion federal budget surplus that they inherited and turned that in 1 year into a $50 billion deficit. They have the gall to come into this House and to say to the Australian people, that they think they can manage the economy. Well, we've seen this show before, Mr Deputy Speaker. We've seen what those opposite, when given a chance to show that they're a maturer government and a maturer group of individuals. And the louder they shout, the closer we know we're getting to the truth about what they're really up to.
Order.
And the member for Newcastle can shout as much as she likes, but she knows I'm onto something. She knows it because she's been hiding it the whole time. You cannot have a strong aged care system, you cannot have a strong education system, you cannot have a strong health system without a strong economy. And the reason we know this, because the Australian people, in a moment of insanity, elected the Rudd government. And in that particular moment, what we ended up with was a PBS system that couldn't afford to put drugs on the PBS. We couldn't afford an education policy. They announced Gonski 1.0. They announced Gonski 1.0. It should have been Gonski 0.0, because the fact of the matter was they couldn't fund it past 4 years because they knew in their heart of hearts they didn't have a term in them. And I think they know now that Bill Shorten's, if he was so lucky to trip and fall over the line, he'd be lucky to make it 1 term, Mr. Deputy Speaker, before they were begging us to come back into government to fix their problems. From the NDIS to education to the PBS, all of it. It just imploded under these blokes. And has anything changed? Has anything changed? All the same characters are there. The actors are the same. Oh, frankly, the script hasn't even changed. In fact, frankly, nothing's changed over there. We have, and what we've got is all they've got left is empty rhetoric, banal sloganeering, and what have we got? We've got a proven track record of delivery. And if they weren't shouting so much, they might learn a thing or two. You could borrow any of our policies you want. Well, maybe you should turn your microphone down, I don't know. Anyway, the long and short of it is that all of this is critical, frankly, absolutely critical, to ensuring that we have an aged care system that can deliver for people who are in their point at the end of their lives. And this can only be done with a strong economy. And the reason it can only be done with a strong economy is because it costs money. Now, I often find it interesting that both sides tend to want to make criticisms of each other about the aged care system. But the fact is, as someone who worked in it for 15, 16 years, I think both sides have a lot to be proud of in this system. It was in 1987 that the Keating government allowed this system to be the Hawke government allowed this system to be open up. The Howard reforms, the Butler reforms, the reforms under Kevin Andrews and Julie Bishop, all of these reforms led to a massive improvement in the quality of care that older Australians, that our tribal elders receive. But we must be under no delusion. This can only have been delivered through the record funding that this government has provided to aged care, and that's why I recommend this House pass this motion.
I thank the member.